Feels like it's been a long time since I talked about One Piece. Also, I'm sitting pretty high up. I lost my chair, so I'm using like this makeshift chair. So it seems like my height's kind of high. That's why. Everything Anime Podcast. I'm gonna be your host Shinry here with Everything Anime Podcast. I'll be from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and every topic I'm talking about. Today's video is on One Piece. I believe chapters 1148 to 1151, or maybe 1152. Either way, things have been crazy, and each one of these chapters could have been talked about individually. It wasn't that I was waiting; it was more like I knew something bigger was coming, and there are like two mouth-dropping things that like I haven't seen nobody really talk about over YouTube, but as well as confirmation that Blackbeard has to be a Cerberus. I'm gonna bring up when and where I believe that should happen, or why I believe my theory is 100% correct. And also, you can check my YouTube channel, my TikTok. I have posted that video several times because every time I talk about Blackbeard being a Cerberus, my theory got ignored by other YouTubers, so I'm making my own videos about it. Anyways, let's talk about these chapters, and then I'll get into more specifically about that. Why does this shirt seem baggy? Does it look baggy to you? I don't know. It feels baggy to me. Anyways, so the Holy Knights are currently attacking Elbaf. We've got Gunko using her arrow powers to control the children and make them go in a certain direction, as well as like make people's attacks go in a certain direction. Kind of like that demon from Demon Slayer with the arrows. It's similar to that ability. Then you got Killingham, who has his thorn abilities, and he has the children wrapped in invisible thorns that the parents can't see, so the parents can't grab the kids. And as well as the kids stop walking, like they stop moving because they're controlled by Gunko's arrow. If they stop walking, they're going to bump into each other and cut each other up with each other's thorns. And then lastly, Killingham, that was Saint Summers. Killingham is using his dream ability to like manifest the children's nightmares and make them into realities. Hilariously, some of them are their moms, which is also the dad's fears, which was great. Some of them are actual monsters from mythology, and that's what Killingham's doing to keep the parents at bay as well. So they're using these kids basically as a way to lure the parents into their tactics to get them to do what they want. And right now, the Holy Knights, Gunko, and again, Saints, because all their powers are combined. But right now, Gunko has them walking over a plank arrow that's going to make them plummet to their death deep down into the underworld, because the way Elbaf is layered, it's on a tree, and underworld is basically the bottom, and they're like at like the top part of it. So these kids are going to fall like thousands of feet, basically to their death, and plummet to their death. And so they're like, hey, parents, if you don't obey our commands, we're going to make your children walk up this plank. And because of Gunko's power, they're not going to have the choice. They're awake now. Killingham released his dream powers on them. But we want them awake so that they can express their fear to you. They can tell you like how scared they are. Basically just to even more play on your feelings and to get you to do what we want. The first command that they have is to light the library of books on fire, the books of Ohara, the books about the Void Century. And I was like, there's no way we're doing this again. We already burned the books of Ohara back in Robin's flashback during the Water 7 / Enies Lobby arc. And yes, they didn't actually destroy the Void Century books because they threw them in the water. Saul and Vegapunk got them. But I was like, and it's not redoing the plot, but I'm like, we need to find out what the Void Century. We are so far into One Piece. We're so far into the final arc, or early into the final arc. We need to know what the Void Century is at this point. After this arc, we need to know what the Void Century is. I'm like, Oda, stop holding the secrets. So, obviously, this starts an argument over the values of children's lives, over the pride to bow down to the world government's like orders, or basically becomes their slaves, really. So some of the giants that aren't parents are like, hey, we can't do what the world government says. If we do what they says, they're going to still kill the children, and then they're going to burn our books anyway. They just want us to do it. The others are like, well, we can't. What if they aren't going to kill the children if we burn the books? That's really what they want. That's really what they're after. They want to make us slaves, but they won't kill our children as long as we do what they say. So obviously, as a parent, and even as a son, a brother, and an uncle to a nephew, I'm like, like as I said, like I obviously would like value protecting the children over the history of the Void Century, but I'm like, even if we listen to the world government, they're still going to kill you anyway. There's the only reason that they want you to burn the library themselves, even though they have the power to do it, obviously, it's because, or maybe they're just afraid to fight the giants. It's because they want you to do it. They want you to know that you'll do what they say, because that's how they tricked Bartholomew Makuma with his daughter Bonnie. or stepdaughter Bonnie, but we're just calling Bonnie Bartholomew Kuma's daughter. We're just calling her that. Even though we know that she has a different father, but we don't care about that. We'll find out about that later. But in canon, in our hearts, that is her father, just like my stepbrothers and my half-sister. They're just my brother and my sister. I never see them any other way. And Bonnie doesn't see Kuma any other way. But obviously, they're like, yeah, if we listen to the word government, they're going to kill us anyway. But, we have to value the children's lives. And I love that Nami gets pissed once again because I love the consistency with her with children, like wanting to protect them. This happened back in Punk Hazard. This happened again in Elbath. This happened again in Wano. Like, Nami really does care about kids. And Nami's not like a mother figure, in my opinion. I think she just sees herself like an older sister. But, like, also, we know Nami was found as a baby. And, like, her mom, I forgot the name of the Marine lady, but her mom and her sister, they were, like, I think adopted as well. And, like, so maybe that's why Nami has a strong affection towards children. But I just love that, like, she's getting pissed. Because, like, oh, yes, Nami, get back into the fight. I want Nami to level up. I want her to level up. Robin also obviously won't let the voices of Ohara be drowned out a second time because Robin is from Ohara. She witnessed them first of all killing all her people, killing her mother, and then trying to burn the books of Ohara because they were studying the Void Center and they found out what the Void Center is. They know exactly what's going on, and the world government basically wants to silence them. So Robin, I was like, okay, Robin, it's time for you to step up too. Robin, Nami, level up. Let's go. Obviously, Robin's not going to let that happen again. Everyone in the Giant Pirates and the Stripes, though, intend to protect both. They want to protect the library and they want to protect the children, which makes sense. Obviously, like, our Straw Hats are the good guys. The Marines in this story are seen as the bad guys, seen as the villains. So Robin's going to protect the library and then we're going to protect the children. I was like, okay, here we go. We got our teams. Let's do this. I also love that Robin lands the first hit on Saint Summers as his words trigger her. He says something about, like, I forgot exactly what he said. I'm going to make sure I show the panel, but he said something that triggers her. And she ain't holding back nothing despite knowing exactly what his powers are. Like, Robin knows that his powers are thorns, so she's getting cut up while she's hitting him. Because even though her powers are the flower, fruit, and, like, she grows flowers, like, she grows limbs like plants on any part of somebody's body or any part of the ground or wherever she wants, it still cuts her up because it's taking a toll on her physical body as well, even though it's just like grown limbs. However, all the damage she does to Saint Summers isn't enough to kill him. Saint Summers. I can't, almost all the time Killingham. I get Killingham and Summers' names mixed up, but I know who each of them are. But yeah, she's doing damage to Saint Summers, but it's not really doing anything. Because as we know in the previous chapter, Usopp literally obliterated Gunko's body and it restored itself. I don't know how Usopp got that kind of weapon, but he obliterated her body. Like, her whole upper body was gone, and then Gunko reformed an instant regeneration. So Robin's like, okay, I can't kill him that way. I'm going to go for plan 2. She jumps off the highest tier of Elbath and begins to plummet with Saint Summers towards the underworld in hopes of getting the children out of range of his power. I thought that was really creative. I thought that was great. I was like, okay, if we can get Saint Summers' ability away from the children, him no longer being in range of trapping the children in those invisible thorns, it won't matter if Gunko's arrows are controlling which direction they go. We'll be able to grab the children. They'll be able to, either run away at this point. I don't know if Gunko's still controlling them with the arrows, but they'll be able to run away, or we'll be at least able to grab them, and then that gets rid of their hold, and then, as long as they're awake, the evil monsters, we ain't got to worry about them either. But it wasn't the real Robin, but a flower clone, which I loved even more. I loved that, Robin really wasn't going to sacrifice. I mean, she would have. That's Robin's character, but, because, again, Robin create clones of herself or any kind of limb of her body with her flower fruit, she just created a clone of herself, and she made that one go down with Saint Summers. And I was like, okay, bitch, that was good. And I thought Saint Summers was going to fight Luffy and Zoro and Sanji down in the underworld, but no, it's not that easy. He doesn't completely plummet because he activates his own thorn powers to create a grappling hook to the clouds above, to the clouds on the platform that they're on, because like in Skypiea, these clouds have a physical layer so you can stand on them, jump on them, etc., ride your ship on them. So I was like, okay, I'll give you that. Although that would have been a clever way to take out Saint Summers, at least get him down to where Luffy and Zoro could fight him. But yeah, he's not going to go down that easy. We have to show that Holy Knights are pretty strong. Now enraged, she commands the first child to plummet to their death and to speak and tell them her last words. He's like, all right, you guys, we try to do this the easy way. We try to tell y'all we'll let the children go if you burn the library, follow our commands, but obviously you guys are going to fight. You want to put up a fight, so we're going to kill the children one by one. Not all at once, because that way we can torture you. Again, it's all about torture. It's about manipulation. It's not about that we can't kill the children. It's not about that we can't burn the library. It's not about that we can't fight you giants and take you hostage by force. It's we want you to come willingly. We want to force you to. Because again, that's what they did to Bartholomew Kuma. They made Bartholomew Kuma a slave over time, you know, using Bonnie as like leverage. The world government in this story is used as villains, and that's what villains do. They want to manipulate you. They want to torture you. They want to make you feel like you have no choice, basically. But the first child isn't afraid. Instead, gives an incredibly awesome speech for a child, being all brave and stuff, talking about something. It's okay if I die. I'd rather the books of Ohara be like saved and knowledge be preserved. I was like, for a child, this is a pretty powerful and smart child. I mean, brave child, not smart, because obviously you don't want a child to kill themselves. And obviously we're not going to let a child kill themselves, and Oda's not going to write the child killing himself. But I really do love how brave he wrote that child instead of like her just crying. And she is crying though, but like not crying completely for her life, because obviously she knows her parents want to save her. So I thought it was really cool that he gave her this really awesome scene. And she speaks for like 2 or 3 pages. But before St. Summers can command her to jump, Scalper Gavin appears and cuts off St. Summers' hand, and it doesn't grow back for the first time. This was so fucking cool, because we knew Scalper Gavin was coming. Like, he was coming with the 100 Giants, but Scalper Gavin has made it. Scalper Gavin is the left hand of the King of Pirates, if you haven't seen my previous videos. So that means we know he's on the King of Pirates level. He's basically the Sanji of that crew. And there's a joke about that coming up soon as well. But Scalper Gavin notes that he's rusty, meaning that he intended to kill St. Summers with one blow, but because the Giants stopped focusing on fighting, and probably because he's been laid back living with his family, his wife, his son Colin, he probably like lived in peace for the past 20 years. He hasn't like trained himself. He hasn't had a reason to fight. Elbaf has been like a peaceful society, because King Harold, I think like 20 years ago, said like no more wars, no more fighting. We're gonna live in an age of peace, which is something we learned about last chapter. We still don't know all the past about King Harold and, you know, anything like that. We know, like, he was killed by Loki, and he's the father of Harjuin and Loki. Loki is, like, supposed to be his bastard son because he slept with somebody outside of royalty, or that wasn't his wife or whatever. It doesn't matter. Loki and Harjuin are brothers either way, and those are both his sons. But that's all we know, is that Loki killed his father. We don't know why. And that he asked for an era of peace, like he no longer had the Giants fighting. So that's why Scalper Gavin might be rusty. Now, he and Summers continue to battle, and we can see that the Holy Knights have a familiarity with the Roger Pirates, which of course you would expect that. The world government knows about the King of the Pirates and his crew, but like it just seems like they have like Holy Knights might have encountered Goldie Roger at some point as well. Because I mean, obviously Shanks' brother exists, so maybe Goldie Roger knew about Shanks' brother as well, and maybe I don't know. We don't know anything about that just yet, because the movie Red, One Piece film Red, if it's canon, or even if it's a part about that, like him finding Shanks in a treasure chest like Shanks found Yuta in a treasure chest and claimed him as his daughter, if that part's canon, who knows? We don't know Shanks' full past yet. But Scalper Gavin literally decapitates him again, and we can see that he's above a Holy Knight's level. I really love this. I love that we're getting to see like that Goldie Roger's crew, even though Scalper Gavin says he's rusty, they are still above Holy Knight level. They are above the Holy Knights. He cut off Scalper Gavin's upper body, and Scalper Gavin cannot regenerate. He can't regenerate his hand, and he cannot regenerate his body. Now, I thought this would be how St. Summers is taken out. If that was how he's taken out, I was like, that'd be kind of cool. But again, it can never be that easy. Chopper knows that there even must be some sort of secret power that he's using to fight the Holy Knights. Something stronger than hockey, because all of our characters have hockey now. And even with hockey, they're able to fight Logia users, and they're able to fight, people that they can't touch and things like that. And hockey does make you a little bit make you stronger. But these Holy Knights, obviously, they would be above that, because we're past learning hockey. We're past Master and Conqueror's hockey. These Holy Knights have to have some other power that we don't know about yet. And then when Robin and the others when they were fighting, they weren't doing permanent damage to these Holy Knights. So, obviously, there's some new power coming. If the Holy Knights can heal themselves, we need something that can stop auto healing, auto regenerate, not healing, auto regenerating. Because again, Gunko's body was obliterated. So St. Summers' hand is decapitated. Cut off, and his whole body is like decapitated. His whole upper half. So there's some new power that we don't know about. Meanwhile, Killingham, the horse dude, is pleased that the giants seem to have been given up, saving the research/library with the information about the voice entry in return for the lives of children being spared, because elsewhere they were burning the library. Like the teacher had been like, okay, we'll burn the library. So Saint Killingham is kind of pleased by that. He's like, yeah, I guess he's not aware that the children were saved by Scopper Gavin. He's not aware of that yet. He's just like, oh yeah, burn the library. Now moving on to our next command. Now, if they were smarter, I was again saying, as I said before, these celestial dragons, they're not men of their word. Yeah, you're going to burn the library, then you're going to ask for something else, and you're going to ask for something else, and they're going to ask for something else. It's like if you give a mouse a cookie, it's like if you give the world government the books of the voice entry. They're going to ask for more. Now that you did that, that's pretty much what's going on. And so I'm not going to repeat that note that I had. Of course, being this close to the end, the voice entry and the secrets, I'm hoping we actually don't let this happen. This is something I brought up earlier. Like, I'm like, again, we're threatening to burn the library. Obviously, this is going to be stopped, but I'm like, we need to find out something about the voice entry, at least after Elbaf. Like, after this arc. I don't know what islands after this. I don't know if we're going to a war immediately after this, but we need to find out something about the voice entry. And even the child who's going to sacrifice himself, she sadly blames herself for this happening, which was just kind of cruel. Like, I understand, like, it's a storytelling thing, but like, it just kind of feels kind of hurtful that like she feels like, oh, I'm the reason that the library is burning. You guys chose to save me. If I wasn't ever born, if I had died, you guys wouldn't have done that. It's like, oh, Oda, you're tugging at the heartstrings, man. You're such a good writer, such a great writer. That is very powerful. And again, that's something. This child is like so smart for her age. It's really cool. But the giants do reassure her that it's not her fault, which I do love. They're like, hey, look, you're a kid. Do not worry about that. It's our job as parents. It's our job as adults to protect you children. And we're going to do that. Scopper Gavin then goes to take on Gunko, whose powers are currently on the remaining children. And she notices that and Scopper Gavin notices that his son Cullen is among them. You could already foresee where this was going the moment like Scopper Gavin sees his son there and his son's looking back at him. I was like, please, Cullen, don't say anything. Obviously, if you say something, Gonko's gonna know she can use you as a shield, as a bargaining chip. And because this is a story, because this is storytelling, you already know Cullen's gonna say something. So, and like any other child, the worst thing happens. Your child speaks up and is like, hey, my daddy's here. He'll save us. He's the strongest person ever. Don't worry. We're all safe. And the moment he said that, Gunko was like, put two and two together almost immediately. She's like, oh, hostage. Got it. Gunko immediately takes him hostage, threatening to kill his son, and Scopper Gavin doesn't back down. And at first, Scopper is like, okay, son, be brave. I trained you for this moment. You're a warrior. Don't be afraid. I'm going to end this in one strike. And in storytelling, we know what's going to happen. Like, obviously, he wants to save his child. But if he doesn't take out Gunko as well, if he doesn't, like, immobilize her, if he lets her take him out, trying to spare his son, she's just going to once again have the children under her spell. That's what I'm saying. Like, again, in storytelling, you can see these things coming. And again, the world government and any villain is going to do that. They're just torturing you. She could kill Cullen and then still fight and enrage Scopper Gavin, but she doesn't want to do that. She's like, I need Scopper Gavin to like defense lowered and then take him out. And as this is happening, memories of his wife and his child begin flooding through Scopper, so we can tell he's going to give up. And that is what happens. Gunko immediately begins torturing his son, and Scopper Gavin throws in the towel. He's like, hey, I yield. Just let my son go. Please stop. And again, as a son, a brother, a uncle, I understand. I would do the exact same thing. If my brothers, if my mom, if my nephew was being tortured, and I'm strong enough to stop the guy torturing him, but I can't get to him fast enough before they kill them or hurt them, I'm like, I'd give up too. And obviously, that's going to give the villain the chance to take me out. But that's the hard thing, and that's what Scopper Gavin was trying to do. If his son, not. It sounds bad, but like if his son could have held on, maybe Scopper could have got to him, healed him, and then taken out Gunko at the same time. But again, he didn't want to risk it. And nobody wants to risk that when it's somebody you love, especially when a child is involved. So this is a worst situation that could happen, and it's not going to get any better because Gunko uses that moment that Scopper drops his guard and immediately takes him out. She's like, okay, good. She delivers a killing blow to him. So now Scopper, again, you're in the situation that we're talking about. You are were strong enough to take out the Holy Knights. You're the only one that could have taken out the Holy Knights that we know of so far. She just took you down. Now she's got the children as hostages again, including your son, and there's nothing you can do about it. But it sucks because he also knows that he couldn't let his son keep getting tortured. Not in front of him, and not letting his son think that he couldn't protect them. Like, I understand that totally. As Gunko hears Cullen cry out for his father, a memory of her own is triggered, a trigger deep in her heart. She remembers who her own father is. A father with an afro, a father that was a musician, and a father that loves to say, yo. I was like, what the fuck? Gunko is Brook's daughter. That was such a mind-blowing thing, and that's one of the major reveals that I didn't see anybody talk about on YouTube. I was like, Brook has a daughter. What? And then, oh no, there are people saying like, oh, we always knew Brook had a daughter. I'm like, where? There was nowhere in the story. I hate when YouTubers act like something has been revealed in the story when it never has. Now, if there are foreshadowing and clues, yes. The Cerberus theory, there are clues mixed throughout One Piece. Watch my Blackbeard, the Cerberus theory. There are clues that Blackbeard is a Cerberus in the story. But there's no clues that Brook ever had a daughter. There's clues that Brook is related to Laboon. He was a part of a crew of musicians. And, you know, Goldie Rogers' crew had mentioned that he was waiting on a musician to come back, a crew to come back. But there was never nothing that Brook had a daughter. But still, it's a great reveal. I fucking loved it. But before we can even dwell on that, before we can even, like, relish that great reveal that Gunko has a father that is, well, obviously everybody has a father, that Brook has a daughter, Emu immediately takes over her fucking body. Emu is now on on Elbath. And I was like, oh my god, the stakes are so fucking high. I love when the stakes stay high in a story. It was so fucking amazing. With Emu possessing Gunko's body, it seems like her power over the children might have released them briefly, and the parents go to save the children, but she knocks them out with Conqueror's Haki, or some kind of new level of Haki. Either way, we know how Conqueror's Haki works. If you're unaware, or if you're weaker, you pass out. She then transforms into a succubus-looking woman, and it will be soon confirmed that there are demons in One Piece. This is where I'm going to confirm, again, how I'm going to explain why it makes sense that Blackbeard is a Cerberus. Even though right now it's not confirmed, there's still a theory that Blackbeard is a Cerberus. We're going to get there. Emu's plan is to make Dory and Bragi the kings of Elbath, but first she commands them to kill Chief Jarrell, but of course they ain't going to do that. Like, obviously, Bragi and Dory are from the giant 100 Giant Pirate era. They're from 100 years ago, and they are still the only giants that love to fight. And they're like, we ain't gonna listen to you, a celestial dragon. We know what y'all are about. Y'all are gonna trick us. You're gonna lie to us. We're not falling for that shit. Because a lot of the giants already had. Boggy and Dory got to an eternal fight. Well, it was really Crocodile's crew that intervened with their fight. And then, one of the giants was locked. Two of the giants were lied to, protecting the NS lobby, saying that their crew was in there for 100. If they served them for 100 years, they let their crew go. They were never in there. Hajuin got captured by a celestial dragon. None of us are falling for that. So she then whips out a demonic book that she seems to be able to summon out of midair, and then she summons any weapon that she chooses. The first weapon she pulls out is literally a gun that blows off Dory's arm. It's a demonic looking gun, a demonic looking book, and I was like, oh my god, we're starting to learn Emu's powers. We don't know exactly what Emu can do before, but we're starting to learn some Emu's powers. And then we get to really see what Emu's power is for the first time, as she confirms that there are indeed there are indeed demons in One Piece. It is now confirmed that there are demons in One Piece. This confirms that Blackbeard could be a Cerberus, because if you're bringing in demons, devils, hell, Cerberus is the guardian of, like, hell. And not saying that Blackbeard serves the celestial dragons or anything like that, but like it would just be fitting if we're gonna bring in demons that Blackbeard will be a Cerberus. And again, watch my Blackbeard is Cerberus video. I'm gonna tag it in the comments below. Watch that video if you still don't understand, because I don't want to go through all that and make this video super long. It's like a 30-minute video, but it explains everything about why Blackbeard is a Cerberus. As Emu's power continues, we learn that she can flip people into the upside down. That's what I'm calling it, the upside down. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but she flips them to the upside down into like a hell circle and brings out a demonic version of themselves. The first person she does this with is Boggy, I think. And then, like, the moment you're flipped into that world, into the upside down, your demonic self has no memory of who he was, no former like recollection of anything he cared about. They just care about power, and they're insane and like crazy. And she can do this multiple people at once. It's not just one person at a time, because she does it like Dory almost automatically after that, and then anybody within that range can also be flipped to the upside down. Now, in exchange for unlimited power, it takes a piece of your lifespan, an undying body, immeasurable strength, but you lose all former sense of self. So in turn for going into the upside down and becoming a demon, you get it takes some of your lifespan, but you get a undying body, immeasurable strength, but you lose all former sense of yourself. So it's kind of crazy, but that's apparently what's going on. And in the end, she turns all of the former giant pirate crew from 100 years ago into demonic giants. And she's like, oh, you guys would be great for the war that I'm planning that's coming up, the imminent war that's coming. And I was like, oh my God, again, another mind-blowing chapter, mind-blowing power. We've got Emu's power confirmed, Emu's power confirmed, demons confirmed, and Brook having a daughter. But that's not even where I ended the chapter. That would have been, again, a great place to end the chapter. However, I went a little bit more, just one chapter more. Under Emu's power and influence, the giants prepare to go after Chief Jarrell. Due to Emu's orders and kill him, other giants are like, hey, Doggy, Bori, Draggy, what are you doing? This isn't you guys. You aren't like this. And again, they have no recollection of who they are, no sense of their former self. So they're just like, hey, shut up. This power is incredible. Why don't you join us? And the more people they go near, the more they also flip it to the upside down and become more demonic energy or demonic entities. Now, I'm not sure if this will happen to our Straw Hats. It'd be kind of crazy to see demonic forms of our Straw Hats, but I feel like it's not going to work on Luffy because he's Joy Boy. But we'll have to see what happens. We haven't seen any of the Straw Hats come in contact with Emu yet. It also seems that the people who are under their spell can also flip other. Oh yeah, so it's not just Emu that can do it. Apparently, if you're a demon, you can flip somebody else into the upside down by like reaching into the ground under them and flipping them. It was crazy. I'm gonna make sure I saw the panels, but like I was just like, this is like some OP level power. If like somebody you turn into a demon can flip somebody else to a demon just by flipping the ground underneath them, that's just insane. And then thanks to Killingham, the Holy Knight with the horse-looking guy with his dream power, most of the children still under his spell. Their nightmares change from like monsters and their moms into actual demonic forms. Like so now the children are dreaming about demons, and I was just like, oh my God, the situation is the same because the Killingham's monsters are unkillable. They're like basically like dream monsters. You can fight them, you can like knock them down, but they're not gonna die because they're not real. You have to take out Killingham first. We also get a glimpse of Killingham's human form transformation, which hilariously makes him look eviler. Like as a horse, he kind of seemed like kind of nice, kind of like friendly, but then you see like his human face, and that's like some kind of monster. It looks exactly what you would think Killingham would look like, especially with that name. But yeah, the horse thing makes it look like he was kind of sweet and shit. Now you're like, oh wow, this dude's a dick. Meanwhile, that's happening. Chopper jumped off of the top of Elbaf to the underworld to save Copper Gavin's life, who was thrown off a cliff. I love that because obviously Chopper can get down to there, save his life, and we get Copper Gavin back into the fight. They fall down into the underworld where Loki, Harjwin, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, our powerhouse monster trio, are still down there. I think the Doctor of Gerd of the new 100 Giant Pirates is still down there as well. So they're all still down there, and because they are so low, it seems that they're unaware of everything happening on the surface. Like Luffy and the others, they can start to sense the crazy hockey that's coming from above. That's where the chapter ends, but they don't know what's going on up there. I also love this point where Luffy learns that Copper Gavin was the left hand of Goldie Roger. He makes this like shock face. He's like, "What? You're the left hand of Goldie Roger's crew, or wings as they call him?" I think Goldie Roger called his left and right hand his wings, and then Goldie Roger, not like literally a bird, but like as we know in the Montreal, Zoro's the right hand, Sanji's the left hand. I also love that, like, Sanji and Zoro, he seems to have been like a rival to Rayleigh because they mention like, Scopper Gavin, who's still weak himself, is all like, I was number 2. And Chopper's like, he seems really insistent on being number 2. And that's really Sanji and Zoro. Zoro is obviously stronger than Sanji, but they're still like relative to each other. Because as we saw back in the NS Lobby arc, Water 7, when they were doing the CP9 were ranking themselves, Kaku was above the wolf guy that Sanji fought, just to show like power levels. But that's just a creative way that Oda did it to tell you who was the strongest in the One Piece crew and how relative they were to each other. Luffy being the strongest, aka Lucci, Kaku being the second strongest, aka Zoro, and the third strongest being the wolf guy with his power level, and that being Sanji. So I really thought that was funny that like Rayleigh and Scalper Gavin have this off-screen like rivalry, like Zoro and Sanji. That's pretty funny. This is also where Chopper fills everybody in on what's happening on the surface, and now that all of our crew and everybody's up to date, this chapter comes to an end with all of our team fired up, ready to join the surface and bring in Loki with them. Loki's like, hey, you guys are going to need me now. There's no way you're going to be able to take on those threats that are up there without me. So I have no idea what's going to happen. We're about to have an all-out fight with like Emu in possession of somebody. Maybe Emu will get damaged. If Emu gets damaged, that'd be crazy. That'd be a crazy reveal in the next chapter, or maybe the next couple chapters. Again, speculation is, I think they're about to fight Emu. I hope they damage Emu. I hope we maybe see some demonic versions of the Straw Hats. I mean, not necessary. We don't need it. But it'd be kind of cool to see. Or maybe like they'll be immune somehow. I'm not sure how they'd be immune. Maybe they'll all level up somehow. Again, we don't know. I just really am excited for the next chapter. Although future speculation past Elbaf, we need to know about the voice entry. We still have to learn about King Harold and Loki and Harjuin. We still have to learn about Juri Bonnie and her father, Kuma, and well, her mother. We know about Kuma. The blue disease that Juri Bonnie was born with, that the Celestial Dragon Saturn gave to her. The Holy Knights, Shanks' brother, Shanks' past. I mean, there's just so much still left to find out in One Piece, and I cannot wait to find out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry, it's pretty much a longer one, but I hadn't done One Piece in a long time, so I wanted to jump back into one. Anyways, guys, that's all for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey, guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home, seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red Will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.